Hey, Joe again. Saturday, probably about 6:30 p.m. Update on my mom. My sister texted me this morning that she was being moved from the psych ward to the emergency room. Well, no, she went to a place called Generations, which is a behavioral health center. It's not a very big place. I went up to visit her. Now, they don't have visiting hours. They have visiting hour. It's from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., which, if I start working back to full time, I mean, how am I supposed to go visit my mom? Well, Saturdays and Sundays, I guess, but during the week I won't. So I ran up there. I mean, the girlfriend went out to lunch, and it took a little longer than I thought it would. I dropped her off, and I looked at my gas gauge, and the low fuel lights on. I'm like, I better go get gas. And it was like probably about 8 minutes till 2. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to get there at 2, obviously. So I ran to the gas station, and I also had to use the little boy's room because the food wanted to say goodbye. So I'm like, what the heck, I'll just run home. Besides, I got leftovers in the car. I don't want to leave them in the truck all day. So I went back to my house, used the restroom, put the food away, jumped in my truck. It's probably about 2:15 now. And I left for this place, and according to the maps, it's 11 minutes away. No. I don't know what was going on in Youngstown, Ohio today, but at least for me, I got behind every slow driver I could get behind. I got behind all the people that when a light turns green, they sit there and sit there and sit there and then slowly pull away from the green light. It took me forever. It took me basically a half hour, maybe a little bit more to get there. I was like fuming. I'm like, come on. So I get there, and first of all, I don't know their parking lot. I haven't been here. It's a really oddly set up place. If there's a total of 100 parking spots, I'd say probably 90 of them are for handicap. So I can't park in most of them. So I found an open one, walked to the main entrance of the building, and as I'm approaching the door, this young lady comes out and opens the door for me. Dude, get down. And as she's like, hi, you here for visitation? I said, yes. She goes, well, you are aware it's only an hour. I'm like, yes. And it's less now. It's like less than 15 minutes. And she said, who are you here to see? I said, Ann Zaborski. She goes, who? I said, Ann Zaborski. She looks up on the chart. I said, it's her first day here. She goes, oh. She goes, well, people aren't allowed visitors on their first day. I'm like, oh, if my sister knew this and didn't tell me, I'm going to be really PO'd. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. And she goes, besides, she checked on me and goes, oh, no, she's not going to be admitted for a few more days. I'm like, wait a minute. My sister told me she got released from Shepherd of the Valley to here today. And the other girl goes, tap, 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 tap. Oh, yeah, she's here. I'm like, well, she better be. I'm like, okay, well, I'll come back tomorrow then. So then I'll leave. I'm like, well, now it's too late to go to my normal hobby shop. They closed at 3. I want to look for some display cases. Just the regular ones. They got to be high enough to put my Jeep in with the CB antenna and lifted. But not so much bigger because it's short. It's a little Jeep. I'm like, I don't need a case this big. I just need one. I found I do have a case on my shelf that'll work after all, so I don't have to buy one. But anyhow, I headed up to Andrew's Shopping Center, which I've told you before, those that don't know. It's a hardware store, sort of an antique-ish store, and a hobby shop. And I picked up this. Now, I'm really not into the super lifted high roller version of it. I kind of wish they would reissue the Mojave or Mojave, however it's pronounced, Mohave, or is it Jave? I don't remember. The Mule from like 1976. But this is cool. I got it. But however, I'm disappointed. No. I filed a grievance with Revell, but it goes some foreign thing. It doesn't even go to America on the website because it's .de, which I think is Denmark. First of all, the decals, I take them out of the box and they have this tissue paper over them. And I go to see what the decals look like, and to peel this tissue paper off the decals. So that's the first bad sign. If you look at them, and it's probably going to show on camera, it might, but there's little streaks. It looks like someone washed the car on a hot summer day with soapy water running down and let it dry. Now, granted, it's not horrible, and I'm assuming if they were cleared over, it would probably hide that. But that's not the big problem. The big problem comes when I'm looking through the rest of the parts, and I think you'll see this, I hope. The windshield. There it is. Got a big old crack in it. So, I did the thing and I filed a grievance with Revell online on their little web page here. And who knows how long that'll take. But then again, does it really matter? Because this is just going to go in the stash ads for now. And I got 100,000 others to build. So it's not like I need to build this today. And I can always paint it and do everything else and just wait for a windshield. But also Monday morning if I want to. Because I'm probably off. The boss never called me this weekend or texted me anything about Monday. I could probably boogie on up and just exchange it for another. But yeah, that was kind of a disappointment. I'm like, really? A cracked windshield and a brand new kit? But yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's about all I did today. Oh, there's the tires. But yeah, I meant to... I was going to do more, but, I forgot I better go visit my mom, and I went to do that. That fell through. So I'll go see her tomorrow. But it's funny, they only have visiting hour. Maybe it's because they're trying to, break people, essentially. And I think they're going to try to get her to, see things their way. They're probably going to medicate the hell out of her. I just hope it at least levels her out, please. But that's why she's there. They're going to research her and research the drugs and see what's going to work the best with the least amount of side effects. Because what's the point of taking a drug if it's going to make things worse? Or the same, or, other issues. Yeah, they'll clear up mentally, but physically she'll have diarrhea 24/7. Something like that. I mean, if you all watch these damn pharmaceutical commercials that are on all the time, and you see some of the side effects of some drugs, I'm like, is that really worth taking? Because there's stuff like, a heart attack, stroke, sudden death, blindness, deafness. I'm like, really? You take an antidepressant drug and it causes suicidal thoughts and more depression. I'm like, that doesn't sound like it's going to work real well. Cause that's kind of what my mom's like. She was bashing her head in the wall wanting to kill herself. So it's like, I better be careful, guys, what you give her. I guess they're going to just keep a 24/7 watch on her and probably strap her to a bed if they have to. But my sister said, yeah, earlier today, she's there now, and she's just sitting having breakfast, watching TV. I'm like, wait, she's like semi-normal now? I'm like, what the hell? But, right now, for all I know, she's throwing her bedpan and, punching nurses in the face right now. I don't know. And with only an hour visitation, God only knows. It's probably going to be like, whatchamacallit, Happy Madison, they're probably going to be like that. It's going to be like, that nurse is going to be real nice in front of you and, treat her like crap when you leave. I hope not. Better not find that out. But, anyhow, I did read some bad reviews about this place when it comes to the food and stuff they serve and a few other things. Nothing real bad, but all negative reviews. That could just be sour grapes from, a handful of people. But that's where everything's at. That's just what I wanted to show you. That's about all the updates I got today. Deuce. Oh my God, you are such a pain in the butt. Come here. Here he comes. Deuce, here. Say hi. Monster. Yeah, he's super cuddly lately. Of course, he's cuddly at the wrong times. Like when I'm doing this, or I'm trying to sleep, 2:45 a.m., just about roll over, and he comes up and he does one of these. He wants petted. Then Mitzi comes up and she's putting her cold nose on this side of the face. I'm like, really? You guys gotta be lovey now? It's like, what is it? Why between 2:45 and 4 a.m. they gotta be the most friendliest things on the planet? But yeah, I love them. But anyhow, yeah, that's where I was today. Just, you know, I actually have a showcase that'll work. Because what it is, it's my Jeep. In fact, you know what? Hold on. I'm back. And yeah, this is my Jeep. This is the MPC World War II Jeep, the Stalag 13 Jeep, whatever you want to call it. It goes back a long ways. Well, I put a Weirdos character in it, as you can see. I wish I had better light on it, but I don't. And, yeah. I've shown this before, but some of you are newer may have not have seen this. It's got a battery. It's really going to be hard to see. Let me see if I can get the light a little more on it. There it is. Got a fuel cell, battery box. Got a NOS knowledge tank. I made a 4x4 range shifter and a transmission shifter. That's a big bead, like the kind you make necklaces out of. I just filled the one side of the hole, and then I put it over a piece of bent tubing. It's got a CB antenna, got some KC lights, and some, it's supposed to be nitrous and fuel lines. The whole engine isn't there. It's just basically the block and the headers and stuff, but like they're not really hooked to nothing, and there's nothing else on the manifold. But you can see the gauges there, I think. Here we go. Yeah, try to get the light on there. But yeah, now he is a weirdo. He came with all pre-assembled and pre-painted. He came with a skateboard, and he was like, his one leg was kicked back, like he had just kicked the skateboard to get propulsion. What I did was I cut his one leg off, and I re-glued it so he's sitting down, and one's on the pedal and one's reaching for the clutch there. But that's my Jeep. Now, as you can see, it's short. It's not very long, and it's not very wide. But because of the roll bar and the antenna, it's like 5 inches, maybe just a tad over. So any case I found, I kept finding cases that are, 3 inches high and this long and this wide and that wide and this long. I found cases with the good height, but they're like that long. I'm like, oh God, unless I'm going to make a super duper large diorama, that's too big. And others were too low or too narrow or too this or too expensive. And I kept finding those stupid cases on Amazon that you have to assemble. I have one of those. I'm never getting one again. You got to glue all the walls or snap them together. I don't like those. I like the one-piece wall. And what I do is I drill out the base and the clear acrylic as easily as I can, like a high-speed thin drill bit, and then I make the outer hole bigger, and I put self-tappers into the base. This way, when you pick it up, you don't have to worry about getting your fingers and thumbs between the top and the base and not having it fall. Because years ago that happened. I had one of those cases. I was dusting my shelves, and I picked it up, and I thought I had it good enough. I picked it up and moved it, and the bottom fell out with the model, and it shattered in 100 pieces. Luckily, I sold what was left of it, the body, to one of my slot car guys, but it was still disappointing to ruin a perfectly good model. So what I'm going to do, normally when I display this, I put a little piece of wire here, and it's propped up in a wheelie. So I'm probably just going to put this on the case, make it brown and dusty, use some cotton painted brown to look like a dust trail behind it. Then I'll just run some self-tappers up through the bottom into the tires, just like that. And then I won't even have to put any kind of prop. Just screw the tires down at whatever angle I want it. And what I'm going to do is next time at work, we have our one of our Jeep Jamborees. And oh, look, it just got brighter. Our Jeep Jamborees, and we have our little auction, Chinese type auction. I'll put this in a case, and this will be one of the prizes. I figure the Jeep guys would love it, and all that. So yeah, that's what I want to do. So I was looking for a case earlier. I went on my shelf and I walked by. I'm going, wait a minute, let me look. And this thing was sitting right next to it. I'm like, Even if it sits on the base, there's still room for the antenna. And even if I had to nip, a millimeter off the antenna, it's no big deal. But I'm pretty sure it'll fit otherwise, and it's not too much longer and it's not too much wider. So I could put some sandy type, cover down on the ground and a couple little brushes and some, greenery coming up through it. So yeah, that's what I was doing. So I was messing with that earlier, and really couldn't find nothing on Amazon. Like I said, they were either too small is definitely a problem. That ain't gonna work. But most of them were way too big, way too expensive. Like some were reasonable, some were nutty prices. And then, like I said, some of those are those ones you have to assemble all the sides and the top. No, I'm not doing that. I have one of those. I'm never buying one again. They're just, you got to use certain types of glue so it doesn't cloud it and it doesn't look as good. So, yeah, I have a case here. I have a couple little cards in it, but I could put them somewhere else for now and put them in with another case of something that'll fit them better. Because anyhow, the case I have is higher, and the cards I have are 1/32 scale. So I'll just put them away for now and then get another case. But yeah, I'm probably gonna work on a couple of things here because that's about all I got to do tonight. Can't go visit Mom. I tried. I figure I'll give it a shot. I still gotta I'll ask my brother-in-law because he'll tell the truth. I'll say, did Joanne know about the restriction of the one-day visit? Because she said nothing. I even went back through the text to make sure I didn't miss it. Because I'm like, well, I'm not going to say nothing if she said, hey, you can't visit her today. Nope, she didn't say it. So I was like, so I took all that time driving up there and back for nothing. So, yeah, tomorrow I'll go visit her, and then, I'll see what happens during the week and whether or not I'm able to. But, yeah, hey, Deuce. He's such a bum. God, I just wish I had his life. The only thing bad about a cat's life, it's only like 15, 16 years on the average. But what a life. Eat, sleep and eat and poop. What a life, huh, Deuce? Yeah, great life. But, yeah, so I think I'm going to maybe get going on my breast cancer awareness van. The only thing about those decals, none of them appear to be separate on the sheet. It's all one big carrier, so you got to cut them all individually. It's going to take how much time just cutting all those out. And, then I'll start sticking them on there and get it cleared, and it'll be ready for next Saturday. That's when the Grandpa Mark's 24-hour group build. That and the, I got the Silverado. It's all in primer. It had been wet sanded once. I went through a couple places, so I'll dust it again, wet sand it one more time. Then I just got to decide on which color of the many colors I have lying around. Because not only do I have, spray paints, I got all kinds of the MCW colors. I got a bunch of them. Yeah, I got all kinds of colors. So, I might fire up the airbrush and paint it. I might paint it with a spray can. I don't know. But we shall see. But that's it. So, tell you what, I'm going to take off and go do something in here. And I'll give you some updates when I do. And for the rest of you, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and or subscribe. And we'll be talking at you later. Me and Deuce, we're out.